So here we are at Miller Horse Farm. There's my son Joe working his horse. My son Ed, he's ginning some cotton he stole out of the nearby field. There's Mario working on getting this horse ready to saddle. I often like to pony these horses, snub them up to a pony horse when I saddle them for the first time. Now, this is a 6-year-old stud. It would not be unusual at all for a horse like that to attack another horse. So what I'm doing now is I'm on the outside of the fence trying to make sure that he will yield to me when I ask him to get away from my horse. And he didn't try to come over the fence, didn't try to come at me when I asked him to move out of my space. He did. So now I'm teaching him to be led from another horse. It would not be unusual at all for a horse like this to attack or the rider or the horse, especially the horse. And so I'm trying to make real sure that he'll lead and will yield to that lead rope. So I've got the chain over his nose so that I can make sure that he'll yield to me. This is a big, strong horse. Now this is the next day, and we're saddling him up. We like the way he's responding to the pony horse. So now the reason I like to snub him up to a pony horse the first time we saddle him is sometimes a horse will panic and he'll run, buck, and run through the fence and hurt himself. So I like to hold on to them until they find out that they're not going to die. Once they find out that they're not going to die, then they usually won't panic quite as bad. Now on this particular horse, since he's an older stallion, I've got 2 ropes with him. I've got one rope that I can snub him to the saddle horn with, and I've got another rope that has a chain over his nose so that I can jerk him back off of the horse if he were to try to come at the horse. Now here Mario's tightening the cinch. We're a little bit more aggressive on a bronc when we tighten the cinch than we are on the older horses. On the older horses, we always cinch them 3 times before we ride them. But on a younger horse, we want to go ahead and cinch them the first time so that if they buck, the saddle won't fall under his belly. And then once Mario got him saddled, he got out of the pen in case there's a wreck. We won't jump on him. The horse is leading off real nice. So here in a minute, I'm going to take the ropes off of him, chase him around. You can see he's got his tool hung out there. So I've got to be extra careful that he doesn't try to jump my horse, especially while I'm on him. But he's leading good. He's not doing anything wrong. So now I'm going to take the ropes off of him here in a minute and chase him around. So again, when I get ready to take the ropes off of him, I'm going to make darn sure that he doesn't attack my horse or me. I'll be as aggressive as I have to with him to be sure that that doesn't happen. When I'm working with a horse, I make it my goal to always do as much as it takes. So you can see I'm being pretty aggressive there with him to be sure he stays out of my horse's space. So I always do as much as it takes and as little as possible. So now I'm asking this horse to stay out of my space, and then I'm going to ask him to move off. And this particular horse, he's going to have a little bit of trouble moving off. Anything he does at this point is okay, as long as he doesn't come into my space. Now, when a horse is scared, like the first time they're saddled, it's natural for them to come to whoever they know. And if I'm the only one in the round corral, he could very well come towards me and run over me and hurt me without really meaning to, just because he's scared. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just asking this horse to move. So I have to use the whip to drive him off, and he's choosing to spin in a circle, which is not ideal, but it's not wrong either. So every time I asked him to go, if he took a step, I left him alone and let him think. And after a little while there, he decided to quit spinning, and now he's moving out good. If I can get him to trot around the arena a little bit today, I'm going to be satisfied with that. If he bucks a little bit, that's okay too. When I ask him to go, I don't really care how he goes, I just want him to go. And when he goes, then I release the pressure from him. So here he's walking along good, and now I'm going to ask him to trot. And then if he doesn't, then I'm going to hit him until he does. And now he's walking it good again. I asked him to trot again. And that's the way I work them in to being able to trot around.